Shalom, everybody. Rabbi Edelstein here with this week's installment of Rabbi E in 3, brought to you as always by MEOR DC. Check us out on our Facebook page, MEOR DC, or our national website, MEOR.org. Please be in touch. Well, I'm coming to you from the basement of District House on the campus of GW, and it ain't going to be fun today, Rabbi E in 3. It's not a fun time in the Jewish calendar. The message I'm conveying to you, in one word, it can be summed up as rebuke. I'm here to rebuke you. You can rebuke me back. It's all about rebuke this Shabbos. Why? Who wants to hear about rebuke, criticism? Who likes to hear about such a thing? It ain't fun, but it's the order of the day for three different reasons that all come together this Shabbos. First of all, we begin the book of Devarim, Deuteronomy, this Shabbos. The first portion is called Devarim. Now, Devarim, the book of Deuteronomy, is lectures that Moshe gave to the Jewish people in the last weeks of his life. And the book of Devarim is full of uplifting, beautiful commandments, by and large, and expressions of God's love for us, our love for God. Shema Yisrael is in the book of Devarim. The most inspiring, uplifting verses are probably in the whole Torah in this book, but it begins with rebuke. Moshe Rabbeinu first recounts the big transgressions of the Jewish people as they've traveled through the desert, the sin of the golden calf, the sin of the spies. It begins with rebuke, and it makes sense because in order to reinforce our own connection to God individually and as a people, we have to come to terms with what we've done wrong. Not dwell on it, but deal with it, remember it, so it inspires us to do better in the future. So Moshe begins the book of Devarim, Deuteronomy, with rebuke. Number two, the Haftorah. The book of the prophets we read, or the portion from the book of the prophets we read, is the first chapter of Isaiah. And this is blistering rebuke of the Jewish people. Isaiah was a prophet in the decades before the first temple was destroyed. And he tells the Jewish people that they're transgressing and they're not living up to the covenant. They're not practicing justice. They're bringing offerings in the temple, but not living a holy life. It is a blisteringly harsh utterance of rebuke, chapter 1 of Isaiah. It's called Shabbat Chazon. The whole Shabbat is named after this Haftorah, blistering rebuke, but for a good purpose. The prophet's trying to get the Jewish people to shape up and not be shipped out. But it happened that we were shipped out, which comes to the third reason why rebuke is the order of the day. This is the Shabbos right before Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av, the second most important fast of the day of tragedy. Both temples were destroyed on Tisha B'Av. We fast, we mourn the loss of our closeness to God, the loss of our unity as a people, the exile, the suffering of the diaspora. It's a sad, sad day, Tisha B'Av. Now, the 9th of Av actually falls on Shabbat, but we push off the fast and all the mourning and sadness till Sunday, Saturday night to Sunday night. But indeed, Tisha B'Av is a day of rebuke, when we remind ourselves of the sins our ancestors did, we did, that we do to some extent. Now, the second temple was destroyed because of hatred. Do we have hatred in our hearts for our fellow Jew? Maybe not hatred, but maybe sometimes we do. And jealousy and competition, and we can learn. In other words, we're connected to the transgression of hatred, even if we're not the worst offenders of all. But it's part of our history and our present-day state as the Jewish people. So it's a time of rebuke. The Torah portion, the Haftorah, the day of Tisha B'Av, but it's constructive criticism. God loves us, and he wants us to be better people as individuals and as a nation. Shabbos, we don't mourn, we don't think about rebuke, but that's why I had to tell you those painful words for a good purpose. Have a wonderful Shabbos and a meaningful Tisha B'Av.